Sup dogs, welcome to another vlog, which means it's another lonely Sunday. So originally I wasn't really planning to vlog today, and as a matter of fact I actually did some game dev stuff a little bit earlier. It's 10:15 right now. Well, I decided that I needed to take a quick break, and I was like, kind of bored. Let's vlog this. I got a new setup also, and I'm testing out the lighting. Kinda neat. Anyway, today is a different day. Even though there's still a little bit more that I gotta play, I am instead doing a lot of testing today. Not sure if I just rhymed today with today, but I'm pretending that I did a cool rhyme. I'm actually doing a lot with the journal system. I mentioned it earlier in the last vlog, but what I decided to do was that for every entry on my journal, I decided to add an additional entry so that when it gets completed, there's a little bit of things being said that you can go back and read and be like, oh, that's cool. Just to see what the main character is thinking, you know, and also maybe add a little bit more to the game, just to give it a little bit more life. So the plan is to look for all those entries, put them in, and then test from beginning to end again. Mainly because I made an adjustment at the very end of the game, and things in the beginning or throughout the game will affect one of the secret endings, quote unquote. So I do have to test for that again anyway. And I only sigh because I just finished playing the game from beginning to end and testing it and making all the adjustments there. So I'm basically doing a second rerun of everything. Being a game tester is fun. Alright. Well, I ain't doing that now. I'm too tired. Instead, I'm just going to... I think I'm going to have a super early lunch again, because it's just the way I do things. Alright, let's see what's for lunch today. Today's an empty fridge day. Well, I can totally go ahead and cook something. Black Friday's around the corner. And why would I want to spend money on food for survival when I could spend it on materialistic things that goes on sale? I swear that I do cook for myself. I just never cook for myself when I'm home alone. Alright, so for lunch, we got singular egg, frozen dumplings, a red bean sandwich sort of thing, and edamame. Oh yeah, and rotisserie chicken leftover from Market Basket. I'd show you it, but I'm sure no one wants to see our carcass. So yeah, not the most appetizing meal. But hey, at least I'm hitting my macros, sort of. Alright you guys, are you ready for an ancient Asian recipe that involves a single egg? Do olive oil. What I have with me is a tomato pan, but I am not going to make a tomato at all. Dang it, I got eggshells! All you need are 2 ingredients. Soy sauce and sugar. But I'm gonna skip the sugar because I'm on a sugar restricted diet. Nice. Itadakimasu. Hello again, it is I, this time, with a cup of joe. Lunch was putting me asleep a bit, so I decided to make some coffee. But anyway, I think it is time I get back into it. It is 12:09, and plan is to go through every single event. Okay, not every single event, I kind of remember. But basically, I'm going to go and find wherever I set the journal entry as completed or failed, and then update it with the new entry in addition to its completion. You know, it would have been very wise of me to have tracked all of that and put it into my OneNotes, but of course, me being me, I decided to just leave it all in my head and figure it out. So maybe I'll do that. Also track in my OneNotes as I do this. Right? That'd be smart. Then again, what if I'm just wasting effort? What's the chances I'll actually go back into these journal entries? How do I know I'm not done? What if I am done? That's the main concern. Am I wasting time? Let's do it. So several things going on. I like to watch a little side video while I do my thing. I am back at it at Ghost Town Living! If you've seen my super early vlogs of making this game, you'll know that I found this guy. So it's kind of cool how it all still goes back around. Anyway, doing my journal entry stuff here. I am taking my notes of where everything is so that life becomes easier in the future should I ever come back to it. And even though it's not completely filled, I do want to test it out to make sure that it is working the way it should be working. That way I don't do it all and then be like, oh man, it doesn't work, and then go back into it, having to refine it all again. So, I'm praying to the gods that I have a save file and I don't, which means new game. Fun. Alright, so it worked. So check this out. Open up my journal, and in the completed section is the magic door. But it has text that wasn't meant to be shown until, well, you complete this section, and sorry, that was indeed me. So, I am going to make some changes around here. Also walked into a couple of things I wanted to change. I wanted to change up a little bit of the text in the journal. And also the sound effect for when the door closed. It sounded too much like a car door closing, so I want to change that around. We'll start with the easy one first. Just a journal entry. It's just a bit of a maze to get into there. And since I won't be using any sounds for a while.
By 1920.
Alright guys, so I'm actually still going through the journal entry, and while I was going through it, I saw the failed ones, and I was wondering, what are your thoughts on having an entry for failed quests? Because in a way, a journal is kind of also like a diary, where you kind of can just track your thoughts as well. And I think if I add some details to failed journal entries, then it could give a little bit more character to the so-called silent protagonist, and at the very least give the player an idea to go back and go for that second playthrough to see what it would be like if you did pass it. Right? That makes sense. Yeah. I'm gonna do it. Thanks for your advice, guys. You always knows best. You always knows. You always know best. You always know best. English. Alright, I did it! It's like 90% done, but check it out. This is what it looks like. So all it is a super duper simple table, as you can tell. But you'll notice that there's still a couple of gaps, which is right here and down here. And the thought process behind that is, so those entries don't update until just before the final map that you enter. And this final map is where things gets very heated. So all of the thought and I guess concern should be about entering that final area and meeting the final boss. So really there's no time for the protagonist to be entering anything into his journal. So what I decided to do is, instead of updating it when it gets completed, I'll instead update it post the ending, and then at that post ending the player will have their final chance to review the journal so they can get the final thoughts of the protagonist. And I think that makes things pretty unique, right? Have it kind of like cycle back to those journal entries and at the same time still have everything feel all connected in some way, and that everything feels closed out, right? That's the idea there. Hopefully it goes as well as I think it will. Should I do it now or should I take another break? Believe it or not, it took me like 30 minutes just to do this. Holy smokes, it actually took me 56 minutes to get this far. Whoa! I can't believe it took me that long. Because it was just finding those entries and updating them. Although I did also go back and change a bit of the text. And I'm actually going to go back and change some more text. So you know what, I'm going to do that and then I'll be back, guys. I'll be back. Don't worry, I'll be back. Here, you guys can have the B-roll of me just typing vigorously on the computer, on the keyboard, as well as my little boogie fella over there. It is now 1:30. While I was working on the rewrite of one of the journal entries, it kind of made me rethink about one of the other endings, and I think what I'm going to do later is rework some of that ending to, because the thing is, the ending that journal entry, I guess, plays a major role in the ending that it gets. Allow me to rephrase. So the final journey entry for one of the ending I felt was a little bit on the less good ending side, and I need to come around and, how do I put this in words? Okay, so imagine the scale, and the ending I just put in, or the journal entry for the ending that I just put in, kind of levies it more towards the depressing side. So I feel like I gotta balance it out a bit by putting a more happier or more fulfilling ending for that ending at a different ending. I know that does not make sense at all, but when you play the game it will make complete sense. And if it doesn't, then it just means I'm a terrible writer. And that's on me. But hey, it only means that there's room for improvement in the future, so I'm trying to look at it in a win-win perspective. Anyway, as much as I want to go ahead and do that right now, I'm feeling a little bit like I should take a break. I've been at this for an hour and a half, when in my head, I thought I only been at it for like half an hour, but it's actually been a lot longer than that. So I think it's time to take a break. This way, when I come back later in the day, I still feel more inspired, more invigorated, and pretty much more healthier, mentally, physically, and all the illies that are there. I do have some plans for later in the day. I am going to do another room tour, which is why everything looks so clean and neat, and there's no mess on the floor. Minus my sweater, ignore that. So yeah, that's my plan for later in the day. I'm going to do a room tour, a new video, so check that out when it comes out. I think it'll be pretty neat just to see how the office has changed compared to last year. There are some new things that I'm very excited to talk about, well, For the most part, a lot of it is pretty much the same. But anyway, I've been thinking about going to the mall today. I haven't gone shopping in a long time. As weird as it may sound, I actually do enjoy shopping, and I find it to be somewhat of a good bit of moderate exercise, or light exercise, just because you get a lot of steps in. Because you see, Black Friday is coming up, as I mentioned earlier in this video, and one game that I'm kind of interested in is already on sale. It's called The Medium, and it's kind of spooky looking, and at the same time a bit of a... It does seem to be a bit story oriented, so I kind of want to play it. It's not on sale on Steam. However, I do feel like I've kind of become more casual of a gamer than I was before, where I'm very starting to enjoy just playing games on the sofa than the computer. I think it's because I get to slouch and be more lazy. So I'm thinking about just getting on the the PS5. Chances are that it's also on sale on the PlayStation Store, but GameStop got it for 15 bucks. And then when it comes to story-heavy games, I kind of like collecting the physical copies over the digital copies. Also, if you guys are interested, I can show you some of the games I've been playing. And when I say some of the games, I pretty much just mean 2 games I played this year. The first one is Persona 5 Royale, and that's on my PlayStation as a digital copy because I got it during COVID. So that's the main reason there. But the other one, oh yeah, and also it was on sale on the PlayStation Store. But the other one, which I've enjoyed more so this year, has been AI Somnia Files! Woo! The zoom is so slow. Oh my god. The Nirvana Initiative. Nice. I really enjoyed the first one, and overall the game was a little bit perverted. But it's not that bad. Visually, it's not perverted. It's just there's a lot of innuendos. Anyway, it feels like a serious game that's also not serious, and that's what I really like about this. The first one was a murder mystery called a Cyclops killing, but then this one is more so on the whole idea that the world is a simulation. Anyway, it's kind of hard to explain offhand. I'm also just bad at explaining things. But overall, I found it to be very fun, and I'm really glad that I opted for the collector's edition. As I was playing it, I super wish that I did a Let's Play of it, but at the same time, Let's Plays don't really do too well on my channel anymore, and that kind of never really did. Probably because I mostly played RPG Maker game, and that was probably my own fault. But, I don't know. I've been thinking of doing like an Instagram stories sort of reaction / Let's Play in a way. Sounds weird, but hey, if it turns out to be well, then and that I decide to do it, check it out here. This is my Instagram. Feel free to head on over and follow, which is, by the way, different than the Caster's Trap Instagram, which I also know I have not updated in quite some time, but I have a plan for that, okay? I have a plan for that. Anyway, that's about it. So yeah, I think the mall's the plan, and that way I don't feel too much like a shut-in. Alright, maybe you'll see me there, maybe you won't. Who knows? You know, it'll only be a couple seconds for you, but to drive there, it'll be a while. Maybe I should just stay inside. I almost hit a deer! Ah! There I was, just driving, minding my own business, cruising along, and then, like, out of nowhere, a deer decides to just trot across the road. I swear to God. That thing was, like, less than 10 feet away from my car by the time it crossed the other side. I was so close to hitting it. If that deer decided to just stare at me and get frozen by my headlights, it would have been over. Oh my God. Like, what's the chances of that actually happening? I see the deer crossing signs all the time, but never did I think it would happen to me. I could have won the Powerball, but no, instead I won the Deer Crossing lottery instead. My God. Man, that deer wasn't even it wasn't even moving fast. It was just trotting along, enjoying the scenery. But my dude, he almost became part of the scenery. Sheesh. Now that my stress level is back down to 0. Alright, right now it is 5:18 p.m. and I am going back at this. If what I talked about earlier was secret ending number 1, then I'm working on secret ending number 2. And by the way, don't worry about the whole secret ending sort of stuff. They're actually pretty easy to come by. It's more so if you're interested in the lore, then you'll be rewarded with the lore. But if you're kind of just rushing through it to get to the end, then no secret ending for you. But it's just all lore stuff, so that's pretty much all there is to it. Nothing to stress out about. Anyway, I'm gonna get working to it. Really not much more to say about that than, well, that. Just like that, mission is completed. Time for dinner because it is 5:35 and cooking will probably be like an hour. I said I wasn't going to cook today, but I lied. It was more that I was thinking about my life for tomorrow and that I'll probably need lunch. So, here I am. Today I'm making a very simple stir fry. Chicken breast, napa cabbage, some peppers, onion, and garlic. So this is awkward. For the marinade, in pretty much the stir fry, I was going to use the ancient Asian tradition of oyster sauce because it packs a lot of umami. Except, I can't find the oyster sauce! I could have sworn I got oyster sauce recently. Plan B. I'm going to mix soy sauce, dark soy sauce. Experiment with this Trader Joe's Mushroom and Company umami seasoning blend. To make it a bit tender, I'm going to add Shaoxing wine. Just pull that thing out of your cabinet. I know everyone keeps a Shaoxing wine just stored for backup, ready for use at any time. Last but not least, a bit of cornstarch to help absorb all of those liquids. Then I shall mix like a god. God, I hope this is okay. Alright, so this is going to marinate on the side for about 10 minutes. Not the same. Alright, right now it's 7 o'clock. It's getting a little bit late. Dinner wasn't the greatest for unfortunate reasons. But I think I'm gonna go ahead and record the room tour, office room tour. And then we'll see what happens after that, depending on what time I stop that at. Sometimes I take more than one take, so who knows. I'm back! The video ended up being about 35 minutes long. I'm hoping to cut it down to 25 minutes, but who knows, I ramble, as always. Anyway, here's the last thing I want to do before I call it for the game dev side of the day, because it is 7:45 right now. So I ended up creating a new journal entry, the one that's on the very bottom here. If you can see it, then you can see it. Otherwise, it could be spoilers. Who knows? I don't. You do. That makes no sense. I think I added to the game. I wrote the journal entry, and I just need to apply it to where it needs to go into. Hopefully it doesn't take me long, but we shall see. Oh god. Alright, I am done for the day. It was an easy peasy thing to do. It was just figuring out how I wanted to close out the game and return back to title screen. I decided to just have that journal entry. Then when you exit the journal entry, you have to hit escape one more time, and then you are completely, fully done. It just goes to title screen. Yeah, so that's it. This was a day in my life yet again. This time was hopefully more exciting than the music related ones, since that's just me trying to play something, getting really sad, trying to play something. Maybe I end up happy, or I just end up, forget the word. Someone just say satisfied. Anyway, it's about 8:10 right now, and I know you guys are probably wondering if I'm going to be playing the medium since I just bought it, but no, I probably won't play it till like next year, to be honest. It was just at its cheapest, you know? Just how I am with video games sometime. Right now I'm actually enjoying the 3DS, and because I just beat it AI Somnium Files, I'm actually craving for more of the same type of game, so I'm going through, forgot who it was that created it, but I'm going through his previous works, and I'm starting with 999 and making my way through the trilogy of the games. Which is actually perfect timing, because Thanksgiving is just around the corner, and I'm visiting home for Thanksgiving, and as nice as it would be to continue working on my game, don't exactly want to bring my giant desktop back home. It's gonna be a small Thanksgiving, just me and my parents, but anyway, I digress. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like, comment down below, and check out the office tour when it comes out. Alright, I'll see you guys in the next one. Till then, later.